Hello everyone, this is Bob with Robert Dean Farmers Insurance Agency out of the great city of Amarillo, Texas. Hey, I appreciate you coming back to watch another video on my YouTube channel. So you're noticing, hey, I'm in my car. What am I doing in my car? Because I'm talking about auto insurance. So at least for the state of Texas, auto insurance is a requirement. But I just ask that you just not think about it as a mere requirement. The reason being, at least for Amarillo, you have about a 1 in 5 chance of being involved in a traffic accident. Now, from there, at its core, an auto policy provides liability protection and property damage protection. These coverages help, kind of guard you against any kind of financial loss in the event that the accident's your fault. So when we start off in the state of Texas, your minimum is going to be $30,000 per person, $60,000 per accident. And this is in just sole regards to bodily injury, medical care type of stuff. So that's the easiest way to think about it. Now, 30-60 is usually how it's said, but what does that mean? $30,000 per person. So let's say you're involved in an accident, it's your fault. That person goes to the hospital, they have a $30,000 medical bill. That's all you have in your policy. You're good. What if it's $60,000? Well, you would think, hey, I have $60,000 per accident, but the caveat of it is it goes off each individual. So you could be liable for the extra $30,000 that's covered there. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. So the $60,000 per vehicle accident, let's say it's a bus you hit or whatever, a minivan, and it has 4, 5, 6 people in it. Well, that $60,000 doesn't go very far. And if you've had any kind of medical procedure done in the last couple of years, you understand that it's expensive, much less being hauled off into an ambulance and going to the emergency room. Now, when it comes to property damage, the minimum requirement in Texas is $25,000. Now, earlier I said just not to think about this as a mere requirement. What does $25,000 buy you? Not a lot. And especially with the price of cars going up so much, $25,000, anything over that, let's say you total out a new Cadillac Escalade, $25,000 is just but a drop in the bucket to $100,000, $125,000. In the state of Texas, you very well could be liable for that overage on it. Now, whether that's through a lawsuit which results in a wage garnishment or a loss of your assets is up to the court, but it's always a good idea to increase those limits to help better protect your hard-earned money. Now, from there, so those are just required. That's required. Liability and property damage. Now, a lot of uninsured drivers going around town. Now, you may think that, hey, I have insurance, everybody else does. That's not the case, or they may not have a good insurance company. Uninsured motorist picks up where them not having insurance leaves, or maybe if they're just a difficult insurance company to work with, your insurance policy would help pay for those medical damages and get your car back on the road. Now, other important coverages on the liability portion of your auto policy is going to be personal injury protection. Now, you may have just heard this called PIP. You call trying to get a quote, that insurance agent's like, you want PIP? And you're like, well, what's PIP? I don't know what PIP is. That's personal injury protection. Now, this coverage not only covers your medical bills, it also helps pay for lost wages, regardless of who's at fault. It's a very important, inexpensive coverage to add. Now, from there, we go into medical expense. Unlike PIP, personal injury protection, this is solely for your medical expenses that you can incur, whether or not you're at fault. It's a little bit less expensive than personal injury protection because it's just medical only. But in the next video, I'm going to go over more detailed coverages with things like comprehensive collision, towing, roadside assistance, rental car reimbursement, and you also have things like glass coverage, residual debt coverage. So a lot to go over, so stay tuned. Hey, and thank you for stopping by.